Hello everyone, Alex and Jack here with a quick announcement before this week's episode. It is award season.
Yes, and we are up for a British Podcast Award.
Woo!
In the food and drinks category. The main award is decided by a panel of judges, so you have no say.
But there is also an audience award, which means that you have the chance to vote for us.
Yes, there are two reasons to do this. The first one is we've made it really easy for you. Just go to lunchboxenvy.co.uk/vote. Search for Lunchbox Envy, vote for us, and make sure you verify your email address when they send you a link. It literally takes 30 seconds. I time myself doing it.
Yeah, it is super quick and easy. The second reason is it would mean so much to us. We absolutely love making this podcast, but it's you guys listening and being enthusiastic and supporting the show and tuning in every week and then listening to the ads, which means that we get some money. All of that is what allows us to keep making it, and we actually couldn't do it without your support. So it really would mean an awful lot if you do vote for us.
Absolutely. So if you enjoy listening and want us to keep making episodes, then please consider dropping us a quick vote. You've got until Wednesday, the 23rd of July.
Yeah, so get your vote in. Why not right now? We'll make sure the next 30 seconds of the podcast are really boring so that you're not missing anything. So once again, go to lunchboxenvy.co.uk/vote. Search for us, vote for us, and then verify your email. It is that simple.
And in the meantime, enjoy this week's episode of Lunchbox Envy.
Yes, it is a very sexy vegetable this week, so listen at your own risk. We're not responsible for whatever you do with it or wherever you put it.
This week on Lunchbox Envy. If you're scared of them, you are cucurbitophobic.
They've been grown in space aboard the International Space Station.
And Samuel Johnson described them as unfit for human consumption. And I totally agree.
Really?
Yes.
It's cucumbers.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to Lunchbox Envy. I'm Jack and I'm here with my fellow QI elf Alex and chef and food writer Rosie.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, straight out of the gate, I'm going to say I hate cucumbers.
Oh my God.
I'm actually so disappointed to be doing this episode.
No.
It's so weird that you're on this food podcast.
Well, I'm not supposed to be. Manu's on holiday.
I think it's quite good sometimes to have a balanced room, like someone who loves it and someone who hates it.
Yeah, but usually I get lunch when I do this podcast. I don't like this horrible, leathery, watery, slimy.
Usually when I'm recording an episode, I always say to my husband, oh, we're doing the XYZ episode.
Yeah.
Do you have any facts? Tom's first fact he said today was, you can put them inside you. Literally
That is true of all foods, just not the way he's thinking.
Yeah, not what I mean. But thank you for that.
I hate them.
Look, I'm not going to sit here and be like, I'm evangelical about cucumbers. They're the best thing ever. I like cucumbers just fine. Like most other foods, they're very delicious. They serve a purpose. But I will say, I'm not going to seek them out by themselves. I will always have to pair them with something sweet, salty, very savoury. You know, if I'm eating cucumber at home, it's with hummus, boursin, name another dip. Yeah. I will be eating my cucumber with a dip. Baba ganoush.
Well, this is true of carrots as well. Like, you think you're being healthy, you're like, how much hummus can I physically get on this horrible vegetable?
To
make it palatable. I might as well be eating like a bit of wood.
I would like to talk about the fact that as a foodstuff, cucumber has this, it's double life, basically. It exists as a cucumber, but it exists separately and almost more popularly as a pickle. That's quite an original thing for a lot of fruit and veg.
It's a bit like the difference between raisins and grapes. Like, you learn quite late that they're the same thing. Just
and actually that
I thought they were different for ages.
Cornichons and gherkins are types of cucumber.
Because they're a different size.
Yeah.
In the British supermarket, you go to the cucumber section, it would be 25 centimetres long, and then when you see the cornichon, you can't believe they're the same fruit.
Yeah.
But delicious. I also never think they're the same fruit. I think they're the same
vegetable.
vegetables.
Do you remember in the pumpkin episode we talked about peepos?
Peepos.
Yes.
These are peepos, so same family. Cucurbitaceae.
That's the one thing I like about them is their name, Cucurbitaceae.
Yeah.
And they have viney,
they grow along the ground
sort of things. Interesting that they're called peepos because in Spanish, cucumber is called pepino.
That's probably,
Little peepos.
Little peepos.
Yeah.
They're native to South and East Asia. It's kind of a broad area. It's India, Nepal, Bangladesh, southern China, northern Thailand. So it's quite a vast area. But we domesticated them in India around 1500 BCE. Mm-hmm. And interestingly, they spread quite slowly towards the west. So the Romans and the Greeks had them, but we didn't get them in Britain until the Middle Ages.
It was a sad day when they arrived on our shores.
Yeah, I don't want to put it on my dormouse skewer.
Yeah. And then they went west in the Columbian Exchange.
Oh, enemy of the pod.
And yeah, I read, the source was behind a paywall, and I was reading Wikipedia, but
Budget show.
apparently the Iroquois or Haudenosaunee, indigenous people to Native America, they apparently, when they encountered Europeans for the first time in 1584, they already had European cucumbers.
How?
So basically the Spanish set up colonies in Mexico in the early 1500s.
Yeah.
And then they had such extensive trade route between the indigenous peoples of Central and North America that they would trade cucumbers that had been brought by the Spanish all the way up to the Great Lakes.
Wow.
Crazy.
And they were already growing native squash and gourds, so they knew sort of how they fit together in the cuisine and how to grow them and culture them. But yeah, so take that with a pinch of salt. But that's such a funny thing to encounter because we've talked about how the first settlers in America were greeted by a native speaking English, asking for beer. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Squanto.
Yeah.
Because he'd been enslaved and then brought back and spent some time in London and learned English and then escaped and went back to his village, and sadly they'd all died of smallpox. But then when the second group, who was supposedly the pioneers and the pilgrims, arrived, he was like, "Hello, I'm Squanto. Do you have any beer?"
Oh my God, that would have been
cucumber.
so surreal.
But yeah, breaking the fourth wall there. It's like, you're supposed to be native.
Yeah, true. Today, China grows 3/4 of the global crop, which actually, when you consider how many countries make any crop, is a serious amount. Like they grow 40 times as much as the second biggest producer, which is Turkey.
The world grows about 100 million a year. So that's an awful lot being shipped from China.
100 million.
Only, I would actually thought there would have been more.
Sorry, 100 million tons.
Yeah.
I was going to say.
My bad.
I was like, only 100? I mean, like...
Did I just completely forget to read the word tons there? Sorry, 100 million tons.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Because, like, there are some countries where cucumber is so fundamental to their cuisine. China being one of them, but also Turkey, Greece, and the Middle East generally. Like, here... I would say it doesn't have any much functions other than salads and sandwiches, right?
And sex.
And sex. That's right. And actually, drinks. The Brits love a G&T with cucumber.
I don't mind a cucumber in a drink. They are themselves 96% water. Famously very watery, and that's why they're the phrase "cool as a cucumber" exists, because they are naturally very cool because of evaporative cooling.
What happens if you are on a desert island or you get stranded in the desert and the only thing you've got is a cucumber? You could have a drink, stay cool.
I would run into the sea. I would end it all.
You would be like, sharks, come to me.
The phrase "cool as a cucumber" was first used in a poem of 1732.
Oh yeah?
By
a man called John Gay. I could read out the whole poem. It's a bit... I don't want to use the word doggerel lightly, but it's one of the things he does quite a lot of something as a something, including pert as a pearmonger, which didn't catch on.
No. But cool as a cucumber is a really... Like, that's quite a legacy to have left.
That is a big one. Yeah, that's really good. I mean, that's the thing. You throw a lot of shit to the wall, something's going to stick. But we should have kept Pert as a pearmonger.
Pert as a pearmonger. I'm going to keep using it.
Did he have a famously sexy pearmonger in his local area?
Well, it is quite...
It's very specific to be a pearmonger.
Yeah.
Like, no other fruits, just pears.
But you can get by, when you're hot, you can get by doing any job, you know?
Yeah,
that's true.
I'm pretty sure there are a couple of influencers who just sell pears.
Pear influencer.
Pert
pearmonger.
Hashtag spawn.
My favourite cucumber, potentially of all cucumber, is the cucumber you get in a banh mi, which is the delicious Vietnamese roasted pork sandwich. Typically roasted pork, but you can get other flavours. And it has these little pickled carrots and daikon and cucumber often, and man, that's good. And it's like the perfect thing for that sandwich because it's cooling. There's lots of spice. There's typically chopped chili. There's rich, fatty pork. It's just perfection.
It's a good balance of flavours and textures, I find. Yeah.
Some big famous cucumbers.
Big famous cucumbers.
Heaviest cucumber ever.
Oh,
Can we guess?
It's got to be like 10 kilos or something, right?
13.4 kilos.
Oh
my gosh.
Grown in Worcestershire, Malvern in Worcestershire in September 2023. So pretty
shout
recent.
Shout out Worcestershire. Shout out UK. I love it when we win things.
Well, the other one also, the longest one was grown in Southampton the year before in 2022.
Oh, so the fattest is not the longest.
The very long, thin one, I imagine, 113 centimetres.
Like a rope.
Wow.
The seeds were
Coiled
from
up.
Poland, but it was grown here.
Okay.
The record yield from a single plant was achieved by scientists at Epcot in Disney World in 2006. Yeah.
Wow. Were they trying to make a new character?
Yeah, it's on my favourite ride, which is basically
Oh my God.
ride a slow boat through a series of greenhouses where they're growing plants and you watch plants grow and they tell you about them.
It does sound great to
It
be fair.
actually is.
cool.
It sounds
the
like a
nicest
sort of
ride.
like grown-up Small World.
Exactly that, yeah.
It
Yeah.
sounds like if that wasn't next to these big roller coasters and like the Jurassic Park ride, that would be worth visiting, right? But it's just so overshadowed by the rest of Disney.
But it's very popular.
Is Epcot the one in California?
No, it's a really big one in Florida.
Oh, it is Florida.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like the idea is that it's way more than a theme park. Like there's lots of educational pavilions and stuff. But one of the things they're doing is they have this kind of set of science labs where the scientists are trying to, solve food problems. And they have, I think, made pretty major contributions to food science because it's a big company putting a lot of money behind research. But the idea is that there's the boat ride going past the scientists so that people can see what's going on, which is hilarious.
Yeah. Do you think we should do a live podcast next to like a slow moving river that people can like come past?
That should be the
and
podcast
watch us?
festival. You
Yeah.
just get snippets
Yes.
of each podcast as you get
That's
around.
genius. Okay, it's time for our first lunchbox, and this week that's Rosie's.
Yay! And I have brought something that I'm very passionate about. Guys, I want to get on my soapbox once again. Somebody stop me and tell you need to be cooking your cucumbers.
No.
Oh.
How?
They are fantastic cooked, and we are not doing it enough.
It's the thing you've just put in front of us, cooked cucumber.
That is Julia Child's braised cucumbers.
Wow, looks beautiful.
Julia
It looks
Child.
lovely.
Yeah, it's delicious. Julia Child is a very, very famous American food writer from the mid-century. She's not alive anymore. She wrote some of the most prolific cookbooks of all time. And what was sort of refreshing about Julia Child is that she embraced food for as a woman in a much more precise, exact manner. She went to culinary school in Paris, trained with male chefs. She was much maligned by her colleagues in that room, so that she could teach American women how to cook beautiful French food and host in a much more like meaningful way than just like, let's make a jelly salad with marshmallows and
to feed your
popcorn
family.
and things like that. She was actually really serious about food.
And did she, my understanding of her when she wrote, it was The Art of French Cooking, was her really big famous book.
Yeah.
And the thing which I really rate, I've never cooked anything of hers, but I think I would enjoy doing it. She was incredibly precise with how she wrote. She left nothing to kind of like...
Totally.
She'd tell you exactly how to measure out every single ingredient, exactly how many times to stir something, so that you could, if you followed the instructions, you couldn't get it wrong. Which is really good for like unconfident cooks.
Yeah, and also the nice thing I think about her is that when she did eventually make television, she was quite sort of like laissez-faire, shall we say, with her, and I suppose it was a different time. They didn't have, multiple passes to do of different recipes, whatever. That was all kind of live in the studio. But she would like fuck things up on camera and be like, oh, well, it's okay. It's not a problem. That's my impression of
It's a
Julia
very
Child.
good- She does seem like an SNL character when you watch her.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, she's crazy.
Yeah.
Very tall woman.
Very tall woman. And
She famously had a customized kitchen that was
Really?
all the worktops were raised in her TV studio kitchen, so that they were the good fight for her.
yeah. Anyway, she has a recipe for braised cucumbers. And I actually thought of it because a few weeks ago I rewatched the feature film Julie and Julia,
Oh, classic.
which is a film about Julia Child and her cooking viewed through the prism of a modern day food blogger who decides to cook every recipe from her book, The Art of French Cooking, a woman called Julie.
Meryl Streep and Amy Adams, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And she makes these braised cucumbers and she waxes lyrical about them. But I have loved cooking cucumbers for the last 5 or 6 years. I remember the first time I cooked a cucumber was on a Tom Kerridge show.
Everyone remembers their first time.
Everyone remembers their first time.
First cucumber.
I'd never heard of such a manic, just like crazy idea. But basically, it was a barbecue show, and we made a salad where we grilled like properly charred cucumbers on the grill, and they were unbelievably delicious.
Really?
And I basically was like, whoa, I have been missing out. This is actually crazy how good these are to cook. They behave similarly to sort of a courgette. They're flavour sponges. There is not a lot going on in a cucumber, as you know. They need some help. They need, other flavours, fats, whatever. But I'd love to see what you think.
That's
like,
okay. I actually look really nice. They kind of look oniony.
What did you braise them in?
Well, Julie's recipe is a little bit off what I would call a normal braise. So she basically cooks them in butter. But what you do beforehand is you peel them and you salt them.
Oh, that is good.
I would say that is essential for any time you're cooking cucumbers. You do need to peel them and you do need to salt them.
Okay.
Peeling specifically because, as I mentioned before, that texture of the skin is actually not that great cooked. It's not terrible, but it's not amazing. And it also kind of means that you'll have a thicker, harder part and a less evenly cooked overall product, because you'll have to overcook the middle bit to cook the outside, that kind of thing. Also, it does stop flavour being absorbed. And also the other really important thing about salting cucumber is that it draws out a lot of that excess water.
95%.
So basically what happens when you salt cucumber is that it initiates osmosis, which expels the water from the cucumber cells while simultaneously internally seasoning it with salt.
Right.
And it's what you do when you pickle things, but it's really good practice in general for cucumbers because they just do need that help.
Yeah.
And you don't want to chuck something that's really watery into a hot pan or onto a grill. Like, you do actually need to dry it out a bit.
Yeah.
So I would recommend a minimum of half an hour salting in a bowl. You can even salt them in a colander over a bowl and just see the liquid come out. And actually that cucumber liquid, don't throw that away. That's lovely for drinking. I mean, it's salty, but it's great for electrolytes. But you could use it in cocktails, a cucumber martini, that would be so nice. You can use it in your salad dressing. You can use it wherever you want. Like, I mean, obviously it's not like a huge amount, so it might be annoying to keep in your fridge, but just think laterally. You don't have to.
Oh, I've tasted it. It is tasty. I think you've obviously done an amazing job. This is a lovely dish. I will say that what I feel like I'm enjoying the taste of is the salt, the butter, and the lovely herbs.
Yes.
And the bit that I don't like is the cucumber element.
Yes. And I think, but if you do sort of like cucumbers, it's just definitely more enjoyable than if you don't. This is a good gateway drug for those who don't know if they're going to like a cooked cucumber because of all of the aforementioned
it's very approachable.
Things.
Yeah.
Butter, fresh herbs at the end. So basically what you do, you braise it with butter and you braise it with some soft herbs. Now, I've used my soft herbs at the end. I've used basil and chives, lots of salt and pepper, lots of butter in the oven for about half an hour. But the other thing I like to do with cucumber, other than braising it, is stir frying it. And in a lot of Chinese cookery, there's a lot of stir-fried cucumber dishes. And obviously they have different species of cucumbers that are way more sort of hardy and thicker and spongier than the ones we have. But they still work. Like, a salad cucumber will work fine in a stir-fry as long as you've salted it. A younger cucumber is actually going to be a little bit easier to cook with. I quite like the firmness. They hold their own in high temperatures better. Yeah. I made a dish the other day which contained braised cucumbers, which was basically like chicken legs, cucumbers, shallot, garlic, and then I used a couple of spices. I used cardamom and I used a little bit of coriander, ground coriander. And I used giant pieces of like quite firm, slightly younger cucumbers. And they were honestly sensational. They were so delicious.
Really?
Like I was just like, I want to do this every day. Of course, cooking does take away quite a lot of the spectacular nutrients that cucumbers are famous for.
I don't think cucumbers are as nutritious as we give them credit for. They're fine, but they're not great.
So I did look into this.
They're not superfood.
I want to talk about this phenomenon that we saw from the 2010s onwards, I would say. Yeah. You walked in any cafe, there'd be a jug of water and it would have loads of cucumber in it.
Oh, I do hate this.
And then you go into a spa and it's cucumber water and it's, and basically just became this like incredibly ubiquitous thing. It got to the point where I had to ask for no cucumber in my water.
My main problem is bits. Like, I don't actually really mind drinking, say, like lemon water, cucumber water, but you'll always end up with a pit floating around or, a bit of cucumber skin. I'm like, I just want a glass of water.
Yeah.
The reason I drink water is because it's a neutral flavour. So why are you making the executive decision to poison my water with a different flavour?
Well, so I don't know who, was it Big Cucumber who maybe invented this like
that really big one was growing
idea
in
that
summer.
cucumber water
Cucumber
is incredibly good for you. I think probably what restaurants were thinking, less so on the health side, more for your money side. They're thinking
it looks nice.
It looks
like
nice.
And the
it's
connotations
like a little
of freshness
chic,
as well.
You know, we've spent a
Connotations-
bit of extra money on this tap water for you, so connotations of freshness that's been replenished recently because that cucumber looked quite fresh. But there was this kind of like big buzz around it being this answer to all of our health problems. Like, you know, it's a great way to lose weight. It's a great way to do this, that, and the other. So I looked into it, and it is all bullshit.
Oh, wait, so I can't drink Pims every day and lose weight?
Yeah, no, unfortunately, you won't lose weight from Pims.
Damn.
There are lots of nutrients in cucumbers, particularly in the skin.
Yeah.
Antioxidants, vitamins A, C,
Anti-octopants.
antioxidants, vitamins A, C, and K. Lots of types of vitamin B.
Those are my favourite.
Minerals.
What do they do, Rosie? Did you look them up or did you just
didn't
read?
look them up.
Oh, yeah,
No,
this
no.
vitamin's good for you.
Vitamins are supposedly good for you. Lots of minerals. And they also contain fiber, which, as we know, is an incredibly popular ingredient these days, like fiber over everything.
Yeah. Well, 95% of Brits don't eat enough fibre every day.
Yeah, but if you're drinking cucumber water, that's it. You've covered. Not true. I think basically what people were conflating were cucumber juice, the juice of a cucumber, the pressed juice or created juice from a cucumber, and cucumber water, where a couple of slices of cucumber have been added to some water.
It's homeopathic cucumber.
Yeah. It does release its flavour. Yes, you can taste it. Sure. But it doesn't actually have much nutritional benefit at all.
No, of course not.
Cucumber is a great superfood.
Yeah.
But all of this would have to be extremely high concentration. And the concentration of cucumber water, as you would get in a vegan restaurant in London, is not going to cut it, guys. I'm really sorry. There were lies about it melting belly fat. There were people talking about detoxing your body. Wow. Like, it's just false. It's just utterly
I suppose
false.
if you drank a ton of water, like if you massively upped your water intake, that might be good because like drinking a lot of water is good for you.
Yeah. Behaviorally, drinking cucumber water instead of sodas, instead of fizzy drinks.
It's about what it replaces.
Beers,
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that's a great way to lose weight and to, generally...
I like a cucumber in my beer though. I mean, it freshens it up and makes me feel like I'm
I
healthy.
would actually say that's probably delicious.
In the neck instead of a lime wedge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen the thing about pickle juice in a Coke?
No. Tell
Dua
me.
Lipa, the pop star, did a post on her Instagram or TikTok or something where she basically poured pickle juice into her Coke and then drank it.
Yeah.
And it like set the internet alight, as it obviously would. I've never actually tried it.
No.
I guess it's that sweet and bitter combo.
Yeah, but Coke is such a strong flavour. I'm not sure that I'd
sure.
want another really strong flavour.
I've got some Coke now. Do you want to try?
Yeah, let's try
Go
it.
grab it. It's in the fridge.
Right, cheers. Then pickle Coke. Let's have it. Slancha.
Dear.
It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
I can understand it.
Not enough pickle juice. I'm topping mine up.
Oh,
Oh, it's salty. Oh, I like it.
yeah. Refreshing.
That is an electrolyte burst. Guys, that gets the RMPQ recommendation.
Okay, it's time for our second lunchbox, and this week that's mine. I've brought you pickle liquor.
Excuse me?
What?
Bless you.
I've brought you the liquor from a pickle.
Oh, pickle liquor.
So I've pickled some gherkins, and this is a tradition in America, in the Irish community, of doing a shot of pickle liquor after your shot of whiskey.
A pickleback.
A pickleback, that's what it's called, yeah.
Yeah. I love a pickleback. I hate whiskey, but I love a
All
pickleback.
right. The pickleback refers to the pickle juice chaser.
Yeah, exactly. And Alex, you don't like this, do you?
Slancha.
Yes, I can
It's
really
a really
tell I'm not going to like
shit
it.
day for you.
Ugh.
Thank you so much. Thank you for a lovely lunchbox.
No, thank you for that little aside. So, have you seen sports people on television swilling pickle juice around and then spitting it out?
Oh, yeah, I have actually seen that.
I
What's
have
going on
never
here?
seen that.
So basically, Cramp is a problem that athletes suffer because it's an involuntary spasm of muscles, which can happen either if your muscles are overused or you have a lack of important electrolytes.
Right.
So electrolytes are things like potassium, calcium, magnesium, sodium, basically salts that your muscles need in order to fire. So the way you can treat muscle cramps is by consuming electrolytes.
Okay, so replenish them.
Replenish them, exactly. But if you're halfway through a tennis match and it's an important game, you don't want all that sort of Powerade sloshing around in your stomach.
Okay.
So they need to find a way to get rid of these cramps by any means possible, just so they can get to the end of the match. Like, it might only be 10 minutes away. So in 2010, a study was done which discovered something rather interesting. Brigham Young University and North Dakota State University.
Okay.
And they discovered that if you put electrolytes into your mouth in the form of most commonly pickle juice,
right,
you don't need to swallow it. You swill it around in your mouth.
My mouthwash.
For 20 seconds and then spit it out. You can actually trick your body. It's like a hack. You trick your body into thinking the electrolytes are coming. The brain is like, oh, don't worry about the cramps. There's electrolytes coming. Help is on the way. And it can get you to the end of the match.
So that's amazing. So this is like a neurological thing. Your body is anticipating the food it's going to get.
Absolutely.
But then you're like, psych, and you spit it out again.
Yeah.
And it takes the brain like 10 minutes to realise.
Yeah. And what you can't do is immediately rinse your mouth out with water because
then
actually
the brain will know that you've been lying. Yeah.
You need the taste to linger there.
Isn't that amazing that like neurologically you can trick? Yeah, like on one level the brain is tricking itself because your brain is, you know that you're faking it like consciously, but then subconsciously the brain doesn't know. It's so
the
weird.
Placebo effect. It's a bit like saying, oh, the paramedic's here when you've had a horrible injury and you're screaming, and it stops the screaming because you're like, oh, help's here. And then obviously the help doesn't actually arrive because it's just in your body.
It's a placebo.
Who would do that?
Well, it's a bit mean. Not the perfect example, the metaphor.
Because electrolytes are a very popular product to make at the moment. Like, people are really, really going for the electrolytes.
Yeah.
Everyone on TikTok I watch has an electrolyte at breakfast.
So electrolytes are basically salts, which our body needs, and one of them is sodium, which is in table salt, but then there's also potassium and magnesium. As with often these things, you can usually get most of them if you have a balanced diet. So big electrolyte will be selling you Powerade or Lucozade or whatever, and it does give you a boost for exercise, but part of that is the hydration and part of that's the sugar.
Yeah, well, it's sort of a bit like the cucumber water thing. Like, it's perceived health that you actually just pissing away, because that's what I've read people say about when you see people take like 10 supplements with water in the morning. That is not like,
if you're short of something, it will top you up, but everything extra, your body's just like, well, we don't need this extra magnesium, let's just piss it away. So it makes quite expensive urine is the biggest counterclaim.
Wow.
One sports nutritionist on the BBC I read claimed, the more horrible the taste, the more effective it is.
That's right.
I think the implication of that quote is like, the more salt, the better, and therefore the less palatable.
And just to be clear, though, it doesn't have to be cucumber pickle juice. It could be any pickle juice. It could be kimchi juice.
The main importance is it's salty water. Basically.
Okay.
Rosie's thinking about, if I'm a professional athlete, I just have a tasting menu on the sidelines and I'm enjoying all these different types of juices, and then I have a banana.
Yeah, a like complete flight of shots. You know, like you used to get in what was that bar called?
Vodka Revolution.
Vodka Revolution.
Vodka Revs.
Those like shot strips of
horrendous.
Pickle
they
juice.
had like 40 different flavours, didn't they? But yeah, so pickled gherkins are salty enough that they can conduct electricity if you attach two electrical nodes at either end. And obviously a lot of liquid. They actually glow if you pass current through them.
Wow.
And nobody knows why they glow, because they tend to glow at one end.
Oh, interesting.
Nobody really knows why. I suspect it's to do with, like, if you know any sort of physics, it's like the positive end and the negative end. Like the ions are passing from one to the other.
Is it the end that is like, because when you pickle a gherkin, often, not always, but they're often like upright in the jars. Is it the end of the bottom or the end of the top that's glowing?
So the salt goes to the bottom.
Yeah.
It must be that. It must be the way that they're formed.
No, but then there's the other thing. There is sort of universally accepted techers, which is that you should cut off the blossom end of the cucumber, i.e. the end where it flowers, to keep them as crisp as possible post pickling. So could it be that end?
It could be.
If the scientists haven't worked it out, Rosie, then I don't
Probably
really think,
you won't. Yeah, you dumb bitch.
So the earliest record we have of anyone pickling anything is a cucumber.
Oh.
From 2030 BCE, which
I
is
was
quite
about to say,
specific.
2030 is in 5 years, 4 years
Yes,
time.
actually, that's so interesting. It's like the mirror year.
Wow, we're nearly there, yeah. We should do something. We should have a special anniversary. Do you reckon 2030 was when they ate the pickled cucumber? Or do you reckon it was when it went in the jar and they ate it
Great
in 2026?
question. We will
Well,
never know the answer.
But it's weird that like best before dates went backwards before Christ.
Yeah.
And also, I have another
So you're
question.
like, oh, this is fine. No, wait.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting very confused at just thinking about it. I have another question for you, Jack.
Yeah.
And you might not know the answer. Was it pickled
As with all questions.
or was it fermented?
Oh, that is a good question.
Almost certainly fermented, right?
Can you not do... Is one not a subsection of the other?
So, as I understand the difference from a purely culinary aspect, a fermentation process requires a lot less extraneous ingredients. You might only ferment with salt or lactic acid. You know, there's different things. You wouldn't necessarily make a brine, which is what you do for pickling. Brine being a salt and water solution with vinegar and sugar in as well, often.
So, as I understand it, there are sort of multiple ways you can ferment anything. Often, just leave milk to curdle or turn to cheese,
yeah.
right?
The easiest bit, just leave it alone.
That's the
I did
key
a thing,
factor is time. And one of the ways you can ferment is with brine. So this was lacto-fermented in brine, which uses the lactobacillus bacteria family, which are the ones found in yogurt, as we mentioned,
I was going to say,
and
pickle yogurt.
vaginas.
And vaginas.
Easy that. And the most...
Also where pickles are found.
True.
Yeah, well,
I think for me, what I'm interested to hear your ultimate sort of flavorings in your pickle liquor. So for me, if you're pickling gherkins, which are small cucumbers, you need mustard seeds, onions, caraway seeds, and dill.
I wouldn't use onion. I'd use garlic.
Oh, interesting.
I've never made like a proper batch of dill pickles.
Okay.
But all of my favourite pickles are garlic based, not onion based.
Yeah.
Mustard seeds, agree. Black peppercorns, I would say, are missing.
I did miss
and
them out.
actually, when I was doing my research, I found something. As you know, I am the world's biggest fan of bay leaves. Bay leaves are deeply maligned in every situation. People make really mean memes about them playing absolutely
But they
no
are, they are just like, what's the, like...
You guys are not
I love
getting
the taste
it.
of them.
It's not clarking. You need to take a fresh bay leaf, tear it a little bit and smell it.
I don't disagree that it smells lovely, and I can see why they're an ingredient. I think the problem is that every other herb has conceded that it needs to be like powdered or crushed or dissipated into the food in some way. Whereas the bay leaf sits there like a whole thing, being like, yeah, I'm a leaf from a tree. Like why don't we use crushed bay leaves?
Because they're too fibrous to eat. Bay leaves are one of my favourite herbs.
Yeah,
so
I like the
everyone,
smell.
you can come for me in the comments, but they're lovely. And guess what? They're really good in pickling because they contain natural tannins. They're actually rich in tannins, and astringent compounds like tannins are what inhibit enzymes that can cause cucumbers or whatever else you're pickling just to soften in your brine, right? So they help keep them crunchy. Not only that, but they have delicious essential oils. Two friends of the pod, eugenol and eucalyptol. Those are really delicious background notes, and they also just have fantastic antimicrobial properties.
Nice.
Which help inhibit the growth of bacteria, which is important when you are pickling because they are kept for a long time. I was just very excited to see that bay leaves were getting their glory.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
You're never going to find me making a long-winded, a long processed pickle.
Okay.
Because I am,
As you say, a
one of those
long-winded
cooks.
speech about pickles. And I'm like, I think we will.
I think we just have.
I'm just one of those cooks who is too bored and frustrated by the idea of something happening in 4 to 6 weeks, or even a sourdough starter. No, I'm not going to make that.
I don't wait for anything.
I don't like the idea of leaving something up to chance. I can't see or control this bacteria that's, going to be helping me. And listen, I have the utmost respect for the people who do cook like that.
Yeah.
It's just not how I'm going to do it. The pickle that I make the most, I call quick and dirty pickles. And it's essentially based on like a quick Asian pickle. I boil the kettle and I take whatever vegetable I'm going to be pickling. I thinly slice it. Typically, cucumber and carrot are the ones that I do the most often.
Big
But
surface
you could
area.
do this with pretty much any vegetable. I don't even salt them. because it's going to happen so quickly. You should really, but I don't. And I also don't measure it. I eyeball the whole thing. But I do have a recipe for it on my newsletter. Basically, you pour your hot water over your stuff with sugar, salt, and vinegar. Mix it up. The hot water kind of dissolves all the sugar and salt, right? It also immediately softens that vegetable.
Yeah.
So you get that
Breaks some cell walls.
Slightly softer version of it that you are hoping, but it also makes those cell walls, exactly what you said, open to the osmosis of that sugar, salt, and vinegar. So they're pickly straight away. And I literally did it twice last week because in this horrible stifling heat that London has been experiencing, and the whole of the UK, I should say, I've been making Korean cold noodles a lot, which are called bibimbap. And one of the ingredients in the noodle brine is quick pickle brine. Okay. So you make a quick pickle of cucumbers, as I just described, and then you make your little bibimbap sauce, which is like gochujang, gochugaru, soy, sesame oil, sugar, and then you pour a bit of the cucumber brine into that, and then you toss your cold noodles in that.
That sounds great.
Really delicious, guys.
Rice noodles?
That's a good one.
No. You would use like a wheat noodle, either like a soba or just a classic wheat noodle.
Nice. That does sound good. So you wouldn't have the time for Kool-Aid pickles.
Tell me about it.
They seem to have popped up in the last 20 years in the United States. Basically, you leave your pickled gherkin in Kool-Aid for a week, like the most outrageously sweet flavour you can imagine, like either strawberry or cherry, and they do go pink after a week.
So, and it's a fresh cucumber or
No, it's a pre-pickled.
A pre-pickled one. Okay,
but it's obviously got enough space left to absorb some of the strawberry flavour.
Right.
And apparently it's just like the best. And the one thing that I read that they do is they stick a lollipop, like one of those boiled sweet lollipops, in the end, so that you can chew on one end and like lick the other side.
That is just so...
That is the most American thing I've ever heard.
Like American, always cooking everything in Gatorade, like chicken in Gatorade. I'm just like, what are you doing?
Anyway, did you want some quick pickling good techers?
Yes, please.
First of all, variety. Obviously, ideally, you'd go for something like a gherkin. Yeah. Otherwise, you could choose varieties like the Hocus, the Cornichon de Paris, the very tiny ones, Kirby, Persian, or Boston pickling cucumbers are some of the best varieties for pickling. You need to do an iced water soak of whatever vegetable you're pickling, ideally. And this basically is one of the key ways to stop them from going soggy and soft. And like this is what will keep them crisp. You can combine your iced water soak with your initial salt brine. So the next stage would be to put salt on that vegetable, whatever it is. Obviously, to save time, you could do both at the same time. But the salt brine has to be a lot longer if it's a brine. So you would soak them for up to 12 hours in a salty solution before washing them off and then doing their actual brine.
Right.
Or you can do an iced water bath and then you can just cover them in salt for up to 3 hours. Yeah. Depends what the volume is, right? Because you don't have to buy loads of salt. It's like more expensive to do that.
So economically viable.
Either way, you're going to do an ice water bath and you're going to do a salty brine of some kind. And then, as I said, you want to cut off that blossom end, so the end that grows a flower, because that is keeping it crisp and also less bitter. Fresh dill is best. Yeah. However, I'm going to caveat that with fresh dill as well as the flowers and the seeds for the most strong dill flavour. Dill seeds and dill flowers, really hard to come by in this country. Yeah. Dill seeds you will find in like health food shops, dried, but dill flowers, quite hard to find.
So find your nearest dill plant and forage it.
Just grow them, really, is probably what they're saying. And then the other thing, which I think people often don't do, is pack the jars really tightly.
Right.
Don't leave loads of space because you're trying to have to make less brine, right? The more tightly packed your stuff is, the better.
It's resource intensive.
Yeah. But also the problem is that if you don't pack it tightly enough, there is a danger that your vegetable will float and float out of the brine.
Once you're exposed to the air.
Get exposed to the air, cause all of the spoilage that we are trying to avoid. So that's a really big thing, is to make sure you pack your jars really tightly.
That's a good tip.
Yeah, and basically just like work cleanly, because with pickling there is so much risk of contamination. So and the contamination is not going to kill you, it's just going to ruin your pickle, which is why I don't make them, because I don't want to have to wait 4 to 6 weeks to find out I fucked something up.
Well, I hope that was useful for the listeners, because I'm obviously not trying that. I'm going nowhere near it still because I hate this horrible vegetable.
Absolutely nothing out of that.
Okay, it's time for our third and final lunchbox. And this week, that's yours, Alex. What have you brought?
I have brought a hairy Roman cucumber.
Is that a Grindr username?
Yeah.
No, Rosie. The cucumber that the Romans used to eat. Or did they? Did they have cucumbers? Jack, you said at the top of the show that they had cucumbers.
I thought so.
I was going to call you out, but I thought I'd wait for the big reveal.
No, got egg on my face.
Well, let's talk about the story of cucumbers in Roman times. So
Yeah.
there are two major writers who give us evidence that they ate cucumbers. One was called Columella, who wrote De Re Rustica,
My favourite.
which means on the matters of countryside, on countryside things.
Okay.
Is he
like Country Life, but Roman
Yes,
times.
exactly. He wrote Country Life magazine, basically. Yeah.
the ancestor of Deliciously?
Yeah. And Pliny the Elder, who you would have heard of. He wrote
Pliny!
Natural History. We love Pliny.
Do we never hear about Pliny the Younger? Maybe you just didn't get
Well,
up to much,
a lot of the accounts of Pliny the Elder were written by Pliny the Younger. So his death was written by Pliny the Younger. Pliny the Elder died in the Pompeii explosion, and he went and investigated it.
Right.
And the account of his death was written by Pliny the Younger. So we
Were they-
do. It's
was it
nephew.
his son? Oh, nephew.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not on that many maybe name lists, Pliny.
No, Pliny.
But I
It's a
think
bit-
I think we should be seeing a
Bring it back.
resurgence.
Anyway, so Pliny is the one who was really quite specific about cucumbers. He said that the Emperor Tiberius, who ruled from 14 to 37 Common Era, he ate cucumis, as it was called, every single day of the year. Pliny said there was never a day on which he was not supplied with it, which is interesting because that implies that the Romans had a sophisticated enough horticultural growing system
Yeah.
to produce summer crops in the winter.
That's true.
Oh,
very exciting.
yeah.
Now, we do know that they could do this. This is really interesting. So they built these kind of proto-greenhouses called specularia.
Oh, cool.
And what they are basically is growing beds on wheels so you can move them about.
Like a wheelbarrow.
So when it's hot, you wheel them out and they're in the sun. And then when it's cold, you wheel them inside into these huts that they built that had sort of brick sides, but the roof was made of a transparent mineral called lapis specularis, which is it's amazing kind of like type of gypsum that was a rock that had to be mined, but you could sort of split it into really, really thin layers.
Like quartz.
It comes out as translucent.
So they basically made greenhouses.
They had a sort of, it's like a sort of glass,
Mini
but made from
mobile
stone, and they used this
greenhouses.
to make greenhouses.
That's
So they had
crazy.
translucent roofs. Amazing. So it let some light in, but it held the heat inside.
Yeah.
I won't tell anyone when I get rich, but there will be signs. Wheels out his cucumber greenhouse.
I mean, literally, there are evidence of these enormous mines that were used to get this material, all just to
It must have
supply
been so expensive.
an
yeah.
emperor with cucumbers. Yeah, very, very expensive. So we do know that these existed, and this is I think is just absolutely amazing. In 2008, though, there were two researchers called Harry Paris and Jules Yannick who presented a paper at the Cucurbitaceae conference in Avignon.
wow.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
I want to be
We
there.
need an invite straight up. Where is our invite to the
obviously
Cucurbitaceae
immediately looked
conference?
this up. So they're only every other year, and the next one is scheduled for November 2027 in Ethiopia.
Oh,
This
I
one
was
was
going
in
to say,
Avignon,
I'm
yeah.
going to
Busy.
Avignon this summer.
It's unfortunately not in Avignon. So they presented their paper, what the Emperor Tiberius grew in his greenhouses. And the answer, it turned out, was not cucumbers.
Oh,
So
mistranslation.
they went all the way back to the primary sources and had a really close look at the descriptions of these cucumis that everyone has been talking about, referring to as cucumbers. And actually, Columella, the first writer, he described the plant as hirtus, which is hairy and also snake-like.
Yeah.
Pliny said that they are covered in a white down when they're young.
Ugh.
Yeah, these don't sound like
Moldy.
cucumbers, right?
No,
So-
not the cucumbers I'm aware
No,
of.
exactly. So then they kind of cross-reference it with pictures in mosaics and, sculptures and all those kind of things. And they came to the conclusion that actually the fruits that cucurbits describe are long, pale, ribbed, hairy, like with kind of snake patterning on. And actually that's not really the cucumber. It's much more likely to be the snake melon. Very closely related to the cucumber, but not a cucumber.
And presumably 1,000 times more delicious, because I can't imagine if
I'm
I
not
was
sure it would be, to be
emperor.
honest. Downy? It's not my favourite texture in food.
Maybe you peel them. I don't know. Anyway, this has been mistranslated since 1335
Wow.
from
Wow.
a translation in Pisa. And
1335,
and the
that's-
whole world has been taking it on just assumption that the Romans had cucumbers, when
Yeah,
actually it
whole
doesn't
world.
really even line up with until 2008. It doesn't really line up with when cucumbers spread around the world.
No.
I think it might be called snake gourd now.
Yeah, I think of that, but it is taxonomically a melon.
Or maybe they are two different things.
They're peepos.
But there's definitely, I had to order them for I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here.
Oh.
My job when I worked on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here a few years ago now, so this was in COVID when it was shot in Wales, I had to provide the food, the fruit and vegetables and proteins that the celebrities ate in camp every day, that they would win through doing trials. It had to be as challenging as possible for them, as in like weird proteins. But it's difficult to do that in Wales versus in Australia where they have loads of really crazy shit. Whereas here it was like, a monkfish. I had to order a lot of gourds for that show because no one on No Offense Celebrities knew the word gourd.
Yeah.
So I could just call anything a gourd and everyone would be like, what's a gourd? Oh no.
Okay, that's it for this week's edition of Lunchbox Envy. You can follow our socials for foodie facts and podcast updates. We are on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Lunchbox Envy Pod.
That's right. You can also get in touch and send us your fact, recipes, questions, or suggestions for future topics by emailing us lunchbox@qi.com.
Rosie, do you have any parting recipes to recommend?
Actually, I do. Other than the braised cucumber recipe that I mentioned with chicken, which is on my Substack, The Dinner Party, I have another recipe which I love making, which sounds a bit weird, but I call it yogurt and cucumber rice. And basically, you make rice, which you cover in cubes of cold butter. You make a cucumber yogurt sauce, but it's not like a tzatziki, it's blended, so it's like almost like a soup. It's chilled as well. So you've got hot buttery rice, cold cucumber and dill and yogurt and garlic sauce with pickled cucumbers on the side. And I can't describe to you, it's like a party in your mouth. It's like delicious, yogurty, dairy, buttery, rich, ricey, comforting. I really love it, and it's on my Substack, so do check it out.
Great.
In the interest of balance, I want to leave you with Samuel Johnson's full assessment of cucumbers.
Okay.
As he told James Boswell, a cucumber should be well sliced, dressed with pepper and vinegar, and then thrown out as good for nothing.
We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye!
Lunchbox Envy was hosted by Alex Bell, Rosie MacKean, and me, Jack Chambers. It was produced by Alex Bell. This has been a quite interesting podcast.